KSW family and friends. Happy Friday. It is a behind the scenes Friday. I am in the dressing room, a typical dressing room at a backstage in a typical Broadway theater. I have some fun things to show you today. I am so excited about this behind the scenes Friday. But before we do that, we're gonna do some moving and grooving. And this moving and grooving might give you a bit of a clue of what we're gonna do today. Let's get to some moving and grooving today. Can you give me a All right, guys, good. Take a nice deep breath and let it out. And another nice deep breath. Good, and blow it out. Good, all right, guys. If that song sounded familiar, that was Friends Like Me from the Broadway musical, not the if there was the animated one, and then Disney had the Broadway live action version, and then Will Smith made the live action movie of the genie. But what we danced to and moved and grooved to was from the Broadway show. And the reason is today I'm going behind the scenes to see how some iconic Broadway characters transform themselves into the characters. The actors playing the characters, how they transformed into the character with their makeup. All the times, movies, usually the actor will go to the makeup artist who will do all the makeup. But on Broadway, it can be both. Sometimes the actor will do their makeup, and then sometimes another makeup artist or hair costumer will help out. Sometimes the actor will do it themselves. We're going to look at 4 different actors. Major Atway, who played the genie in Aladdin. Casey Levy, who played Elsa in Frozen. Hugo Panaro, who played Eric or the Phantom of the Opera, and Chantel Riley, who played Nyla in Lion King. And you're going to see them transform into the character, and also talk a little bit about this process. I thought it was a really cool thing for you guys to see behind the scenes. So let's go to those now, and I'll see you on the other side.
I'm Major Attaway, and I play the genie in Disney's Aladdin on Broadway. The genie, I'll tell you what he is to me. The genie for me is a catalyst for joy. He's here to grant wishes, but he's also here to teach you life lessons. The genie has a big heart. I would like to say that we are similar in that manner. I'm a much more relaxed person overall than he is. He is, a firecracker, if you will, energy-wise. But I would say that that is probably the thing that we have in common. That's what continues to connect me to him. Things I need in the dressing room to play the genie. I need my salt lamp, my essential oils. Most of the preparation for me is physical. That helps me get into the headspace of the genie. A tip that I would give future genies, get your cardio up, honey. This show, like most Casey Nicholaw directed productions, moves like a freight train. It is what you expect to see when you think of Broadway glitz and glamour. Make it your own. The genie is big. He's a very big character, and he's one to embrace, not to fear. Believe in the magic. It's real, and if you believe it, they will too. Nerves do exist. They don't stop you from doing anything. I'm a little nervous. I'm always excited because I'm ready to tell the story again. One of my favorite things about the genie is the fact that you get a little taste of him in the beginning, and then there's this dramatic reveal later on.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Places Call. Places Please. Places for the top of the show.
First, we're in the marketplace, and we have a costume that is a little different, and it's big and it's mysterious. And when we move to the genie, it's bam, it's glitz, it's glamour, it's right in your face. It is jewels from top to bottom, and it is gorgeous. When I see the genie, myself in full costume, it's very humbling. It really is. Because you could have told me that I would be doing this 5 years ago and I wouldn't believe you. And now I can't imagine doing anything else.
See you on the other side.
I'm Casey Levy, and I play Elsa in Frozen on Broadway. Elsa's she's a young woman who is sort of locked away emotionally and has a lot of pressure and a lot of weight on her shoulders as far as how she is viewed in her community and how she views her role in her community. She's someone who's very alone, very isolated, but longs to be with her sister and longs to be with people, but hasn't really found a way in. My dressing room needs to be a retreat of sorts. It needs to be warm, it needs to be homey, but it also needs to be organized. This is the first show I've done as a mom, 8 shows a week on Broadway. I have a 3-year-old, and this has been a whole new, like a re-education as far as how do I perform 8 shows a week at the top of my game and be the mother I need to be and the wife I need to be and have some sanity. Some days I really feel like I succeed at it and I'm like smashing it, and then other days I feel like I'm utterly failing and floundering in it. Elsa's continued to be a huge surprise for me because when I was cast, I could tell that it was a role that I would be able to dig into, but I didn't quite understand the magic of this girl. She's been taught from the time she was a little girl that the way she is inherently is wrong and needs to be concealed and needs to be changed and should be better and should be different. And so she's grown up with this feeling of damage, I guess, her whole life. It isn't really until Frozen begins she starts to realize that if she embraces all the things she previously thought were flaws and were ugly about herself, that those are the things that will set her free. If she accepts herself, that's where Let It Go comes from. If she can just release this need to be perfect for everybody all the time, she can start to find some peace. She can find joy, she can find freedom, and she can really live her life as a free person. Everyone knows how it feels to be just on the outside, like you need to change who you are. And it wasn't until we were in rehearsals and I was working on the music and we were really kind of going deep on the material that I started to realize how profound her story is. I think what makes our show successful is, you combine the immediacy of live theater with a story that people already know and love, and you kind of kick it up a notch and you show them some different shades to these characters that they didn't quite get to see before, especially with Elsa in this version. We get to hear so much more from her and kind of understand where she's coming from. It's definitely the most glamorous part I've ever played. And Elsa is like glittery and has a perfect hairdo, and I get to wear like gorgeous makeup and highlighter, and it's really fun. And it's like this iconic look. Working on Broadway isn't for the faint of heart, it's a real commitment of your energy and your time and your soul, but it always rewards you back. And I guess that's just like the beauty of maturing as an actor, is recognizing when you're in those jobs that are really special. And this is definitely one of them.
Hi, my name is Hugh Panaro, and I play Eric, who is also known as the Phantom in The Phantom of the Opera here on Broadway at the Majestic Theater. I don't usually count how many performances I do, but I have been told that I'm around the 3,000 mark. 1,000 of those, however, were playing Ralph. So as the Phantom, I'm hitting the around the 2,000 mark. When I joined the company, this dressing room was a dark brown. It was really sort of a man cave, and I found it very depressing, considering the fact that I spend all night in the dark, bowels of the Paris Opera House. So when I took over this role, I wanted a dressing room that was the antithesis. My dog is my heart. He keeps me centered. He has become a therapy dog for the company. I really believe that people come here to see him more than they do to see me. Our designer of the show, Maria Bjornsson, her concept for Eric was that in an effort to make himself look attractive to Christine, he models himself after Rudolph Valentino. It's a kind of heightened smoky eye, and the cheeks are hollowed out and the lips are even dark, very much like silent film movie makeup. I've been an actor since I'm 12 years old, and I was always taught that part of your job as an actor is to learn how to do your own makeup. So it's very hard for me to sit in a makeup chair for an hour and have someone just kind of do it all. So part of my process of becoming this character is actually doing some of my own makeup. And then when we get to the bald cap and the prosthetic pieces, then the makeup artist will take over. And but it's a collaboration. And by doing that, I slowly transform into the character. Eric and I are very different in one way. Eric is very in control and sexy. There's a moment in the Phantom of the Opera song where he has to literally caress himself and move his hands down his body and his hips. I always feel like, oh my God, this is so not me. And I really identify with the more damaged, kind of repressed, childlike quality in the character. I think the scariest thing about playing this role, and I think playing any role as an actor, is to really be completely 100% vulnerable and let an audience see that side of you. Once you put the makeup on and you get that mask on and you get the tight black pants on, it's amazing how much you become the character, and Hugh goes away and the Phantom gets to take over.
Hi, my name is Chantal Riley, and I play Nala in The Lion King. Nala is a lioness, and she's very strong, she's very powerful, and although she may come across as fearless, she does have her vulnerable side as well. She's Simba's best friend, of course, growing up, and then turns into be like his girlfriend and wife. So she's also a queen, and she's a princess. So she's very fierce, and nobody can mess with her. But when it comes to her best friend Simba, I think she kind of has like a warm heart, a little softer side to him. It was definitely one of my favorite Disney movies. And of course, I wanted to be Nala. So it's so amazing to see that transition from watching the movie when I was smaller to being an adult now and actually playing her. At some points, I kind of wish I was more like Nala when it comes to the fearlessness, which is something I'm actually kind of working on. She just has that sense of, pride and strength, and that's something I learned from her every night by doing the show, is trying to use that for my day-to-day life. I like the makeup a lot. It's really beautiful. A lot of it's inspired from African tribes. So, the colors and, the dots on the forehead and down the nose and stuff. It's really beautiful. The oranges and the white and the red mixed together and stuff. So it's really nice. My confidence level has increased a lot. I used to struggle with self-esteem issues back when I was younger, high school times, but being in this role, in this position, has been able to make me grow so much. Being on the stage every night really pushes me to grow up really fast and figure out some new things about myself that I never knew before. I love the idea of getting to use the talents that God gave me to bring joy and happiness to people that come to watch the show 8 times a week. The show's been going on for 15 years, and it's like a new group of people every night from all over the world. It's so amazing to see little girls that come up and, oh, Nala, I love you so much, and oh, I want to be like you, and they see all these things. It's so, exciting and inspiring to see these little girls that want to grow up to be strong, independent women for themselves and not be afraid or anything like that. It really makes my heart feel warm inside. So when I see myself in full costume and makeup, I think there's a powerful woman about to walk on stage right now. She's fierce and she's ready. So don't get in her way and don't mess with her.
You on the other side. Isn't that amazing? I'm glad they also love that each of the actors talked about what the character meant to them. I talked about, Steve talked about, David talked about, creating that story, knowing who you are when you're in the imaginary circumstances of the character, becoming the character. And I loved how each of those actors shared what they felt those characters meant to them, what they felt to play them. Some of those videos are older, so I don't know if those actors are playing those roles now, and most of these were done pre-pandemic, but actors sometimes, especially in a play on Broadway, play a show or be in the show for months at a time. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Please share in the chat which makeup you thought was your favorite, what you really enjoyed, and now we're gonna get ready for the moving and grooving. Like I said, a Broadway show can run years and have a year, 3, 5-year longer run on Broadway. I think The Lion King has been on Broadway without, not including that was a pandemic, for over 20 years. So during that time, different actors have played those roles that we saw, different actors, and each actor brings their own interpretation, brings who they are to the role. I wanted to share that because we're going to listen to a different interpretation of the song Let It Go from Frozen. This is more of a hard rock interpretation of Let It Go. I want to share that because art is so creative and everybody can bring who they are to a role. So this is what I want to share with you. Have a great weekend. I will see you Monday on Zoom. For those of you guys who I don't get to see in person, either because you're at home or you're there on days I don't come in, I love you. I miss you. And I think about you guys all the time. Alright, so let's go to this hard rock interpretation for the moving and grooving, and be safe this weekend, okay?
Snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a brand to be seen. Kingdom of isolation, when it looks like I am the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I was right. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Being good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go.
Have a good weekend! Yeah!